Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Rings Go Global. It's been a while since I've updated you and a lot has happened. Specifically, I took a trip to Kenya a few weeks ago. You may have seen a short little video I posted about arriving there, beginning the journey of driving in Kenya. That was the beginning of a crazy 5 days in Nairobi. But the hour to hour and a half after I posted that video was one of the craziest hours driving I've probably ever experienced. There's two things I don't like to drive in here in the US. It's nighttime when it's raining together, those two things. We get to Kenya at about 10 o'clock or 11 when we leave. It's raining, it's dark, and I'm on the other side of the road, on the right side of the vehicle. All kinds of backwards. Every time I try to flip my blinker on, boom, turn the wipers on, and vice versa. So we take off. First off, we get lost in the parking garage. First fail. Took us about 10 minutes to get out. All the signs seem to point to dead ends. I don't understand. Could have been driver error. I'm going to say it's airport error. But Jason is navigating me. We get out, and the GPS just isn't working. We just keep going in circles. We pass the same KFC 4 times. I said, if I see that KFC one more time, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to freak out. But then we can't really see because the window's fogging up. The lights really don't work very well. I even turned the lights off at one point and couldn't tell much of a difference. So I pulled over on the side of the road. I said, Jason, I can't see. Wiping the windshield off with my hand. We take off again. End up on a one-way street going into traffic. That's not good. So we get turned around. And then Jason drops his phone in that little death crack that is impossible to reach big hands on inside of and grab. And he's flipped around in his seat. Next thing I know, my RPMs are revving up as Jason's rear end hit the gear shift. Finally gets his phone, and after an hour to hour and 15, 30 minutes of driving around Nairobi, we ended up at our Airbnb, which felt like a huge accomplishment. The simplicity of getting somewhere felt like a huge win. The next day, I got to spend with James and Joe, 2 future co-workers that work there. They're Kenyan and they're amazing and they are brilliant. I'm going to learn a lot from them. They're very passionate about youth and discipleship and growing the next generation of leaders.
You're on video.
James here.
Yeah, that's right.
COVID free. So guess what? We're going to have Jared in February around, like for a long time. Okay, keep safe.
After that, it was on to house hunting and seeing the city. I had an amazing new friend named Cody who took us around. We spent a lot of time in the vehicle, a lot of time just getting the lay of the land, learning of the neighborhoods, learning where we'll be doing life, seeing what's available, really just kind of scouting out the city. And so we got to see a lot of amazing homes. We didn't secure anything yet, but have a good idea of maybe the area we'll be in. What we are doing is renting an Airbnb for the first 30 days. That way when we show up, we got a place to lay our head, got a place to eat at a table, and have utensils and things available for us. In those 30 days, we'll hopefully secure a home and start furnishing it and settling in that way. Also, huge win, I secured a vehicle while there. That was awesome. It is a 2006 Mitsubishi Pajero Shogun, which I believe is the equivalent of a Montero here. Vehicles there are crazy expensive because they have about a 70% import tax, so they maintain their resale value incredibly. So 2006 Mitsubishi, 4-wheel drive, diesel. I'm pumped about it, and it's a beautiful vehicle. Got to sign the paperwork and make the deal. That was a fun experience, buying a vehicle in another country. Now it'll be waiting for us when we arrive. Another exciting piece of the trip was the first time I got pulled over in Nairobi on my 3rd day of driving. I say first, it was the only time I got pulled over in 5 days. I think one stop in 5 days is a good quota. After about 8 to 10 minutes of negotiating and attempting to charm my way, was able to wiggle out of a $100 fine and probably an entire day in a courtroom, which would have been valuable time lost. Thankfully, Officer Daniel pardoned me, as he said, and let me go on my way for a violation that I committed, but didn't even know I did. You learn something new every day. Another interesting part of the trip was the fact that we learned we had to get tested for COVID to come home. Not just to go, but to return as well. That was new. So we got tested, all 3 of us. 2 of us came back negative, of course. The third, wait for it, positive. But how? We've been together the whole time. We were negative when we came. That doesn't make sense. We've been extremely careful the whole time. It's because it was a false positive. Upon second testing, we learned that the first one was wrong, the second one was negative, and the test again upon arrival in the US, also negative. Thank God, because we would have spent 14 to 17 more days there, holed up in a apartment somewhere. The interesting thing was the airport never even asked for a single piece of documentation upon arrival at the airport. So all of that was just a fun exercise in futility, but we learned a lot in the process. I will say, there was a time on the trip when I felt completely overwhelmed and frankly had a little bit of an emotional moment. Not a meltdown, just a moment. I think the reality of the trip and the change and the significant life change that is coming up for my family hit me all at once. Like, this is happening, this is real, this is home for you very soon. And I think I realized how comfortable I've become here. Which is not a bad thing, but it's also not always a good thing. I was reminded on this trip how life there will be a little bit more taxing on us in different ways. From the simplicity of getting in a car and driving somewhere, the traffic, insane. I got stuck in a roundabout. I got stuck in half a roundabout for 40 minutes. The roundabout from hell, and I thought I would never get out. At one point, I told Brett, I said, I'm this close to just putting the car in park, getting out, and walking off and saying, someone else can deal with it. I don't care. Yes, that is not a lie. That's true. But things are just going to take a little bit more energy, and that's okay. They're going to stretch us. I think there's one thing we've learned in our life. It's in these moments of transition that there's pain, there are challenges, there is uncomfortability for sure, but there's also an immense amount of maturity, growth, development, faith that is stretched and grown in amazing ways, and that is not something you can put a price on. And that is something I think we all need a little bit more of in our life. So, don't be afraid to step out in faith in things. It may be painful, it may hurt, and it may be uncomfortable for a time, but I promise you, the growth that'll happen in the process will be well worth the challenges that you go through. All in all, amazing trip. Yes, it was overwhelming, it was stressful, it was mentally exhausting and draining, but it was also extremely fruitful and very productive, and we learned a lot. And I feel like when we show up 2 weeks from now, we're going to be much better prepared, having an idea of what to expect. So super thankful that I got to take the trip. Super thankful for Jason and Brett, two amazing friends who made the journey with me, and we have memories now for years, guys. It was a pleasure. That's all for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We love you. If you haven't subscribed yet already, go ahead and subscribe to the video. And thanks to all those who continue to support and pray and believe in us in this new journey. We got 2 weeks till departure, as I said, but 2 days to get out of our house. So Operation Purging is in full effect. We're sleeping on floors, eating on floors, and I'm going to be out of here in a few short days. And then in an Airbnb that some friends have graciously given to us for the remaining 11 days. We love you. God bless you. We'll see you next time on The Rings Go Global.